Hello, hello, ladies. Good afternoon. One moment. Welcome to day one. Hi, Alia. Hi, Iman. Hi, Marwa. Hi, Jehan. Hi, May. It is day one. We're finally here. We're finally starting, and I couldn't be more excited to have lots of old faces, I have to say. Many oldies, but what golden oldies? And of course, some brand new ladies, but I've had the pleasure of speaking with so many of you over Instagram, over Messenger in the past couple of weeks. So here we are. Some of you have been waiting to start. A few of you have messaged me as far back as February, ready to start. A couple of you have just literally signed up last night, ready to go. But here we are, and it is always those of you who've been with me for a long time know that the day one is so exciting for me. Day one is I see all the potential, I feel all the overwhelm, and I feel all the anxiety coming from your end. And I just want to start off by saying, thank you for taking this journey for yourself. And let's not worry about the overwhelm. Every single overwhelm, anxiety, doubt that you're feeling right now is exactly what you should be feeling. So take a deep breath in, feel into what you're about to experience, because when you put yourself into this 100 million%, you are going to get all of that back and more. Your life is going to change when you allow it to. And when you allow yourself to just sit with the overwhelm, sit with the anxiety, sit with the resistance. It's all part of the process, but then also allow yourself to be in the process and allow yourself to learn and unlearn and keep learning. Allow yourself to be supported, allow yourself to be guided, allow yourself to make mistakes. And this can be the most transformative healing journey that you will ever take if you've never done it before. So again, a huge welcome to everyone. This is day one. I want to just lay out a basic groundwork before I start talking today. All our Zoom sessions, for those of you who are wondering, they are at 12 p.m. They're all going to be recorded. They're all going to be available for replay. You are not required to attend every single session live. You all have lives, you have work, and even if you are, stay-at-home mom with some more time, things can come up. That's why we have replays. That's why the sessions are recorded. You are not going to learn less or miss anything by not attending live. You have so many ways of communicating with me, so many ways of staying in touch, that because if some of you have expressed a concern about this, you will not be missing anything by not attending the sessions live. They will all be recorded. So let's start. I know you're all excited, and I know that those of you who are completely brand new, and maybe some of you have done this before, anytime we start the first day and you get that first email in the morning, and you see the actual materials, and despite any enthusiasm you might have had last night and excitement waking up today, when you actually see the plan, when you actually see the process, when it's actually laid out in front of you, you get a shock. You can be shocked at the amount of time it might take you to prepare. You're going to be shocked that actually, maybe you heard me say we're going to take out coffee and bread and cheese and all of that. But then when you actually see the plan and actually see that, oh, she's not kidding, we're really going to remove all of these things, the overwhelm bubbles up again. I want you to know that whatever feeling you had this morning, if you've gone through the materials and read through it, maybe you're getting cold feet, maybe you're thinking, really, what have I gotten myself into? Maybe you're thinking, I really this after all. Maybe you're thinking, oh, maybe you're thinking, but something, I have a wedding coming up, so actually I really won't be able to keep this up. Whatever thoughts you're having this morning, whatever doubts you're having this morning, I do want to reassure you that every single thought of not doing this, not being able to keep up, I'm going to quit, I'm going to email Den and tell her this is just not going to happen. Every single one of those thoughts is valid. And every single one of those thoughts is supposed to happen. What I'm asking you to do starting today is a complete shift to your current lifestyle. Some of you who have done this before obviously are coming back in because you need a little bit of a tweak. You're already doing this, this is already your lifestyle, so it might not be that much of a shock. But those of you who are completely brand new and you are in it to win it, and yet the thought of what you need to do to get to where you need to be can be scary. And this doesn't mean that you are a failure. This is what I want to stress. It doesn't mean that you are weak. It doesn't mean that you don't have any willpower. It doesn't mean that, oh my God, I've joined another program that I'm not going to be able to complete. You might be having all of these thoughts right now, but I want to reassure you that one, it's normal to have these thoughts, and two, they're not the end result. They're just your body and your mind are connected. Your subconscious is very much involved in everything that you do every single day. And right now you're putting a challenge up to your subconscious and you're telling it, look, we've read all these things this morning and this is going to be a lifestyle shift, and that scares your subconscious, even if the change that you're about to make is the change you need. It's the one you actually need to get you out of fatigue and illness and symptoms and medication. In order to do that, the subconscious gets really scared because your subconscious doesn't like change. Your subconscious, or that little part of your brain we call the critter brain, is very primitive. It's basically there to protect you, to make sure that you're always having fun, and to conserve your energy. So all of a sudden, what we're asking your primitive brain to do is exert energy in terms of preparation. We're going to take away some of the enjoyment and the fun because there's no more coffee, there's no more bread, there's no more cheese. And we're going to push you out of your comfort zone. And your critter brain doesn't like that. Your critter brain is there to protect you under all circumstances from any kind of change because it perceives any kind of change, even if it's going to be good for you, it perceives any kind of change literally to be so dangerous that it might kill you. So, and this is why it keeps giving you all these excuses. So right now, your critter brain is literally telling you, if you stop drinking coffee, you might die. If you stop having your melted cheese sandwich, you might die. If you are not going to be eating all the protein that you think you should be eating, you might die. And because of that thought, it's coming up with the excuses. You won't be able to do this. You won't be able to sustain this. You're traveling in 2 weeks. What are you going to do? What are you going to do at your mother-in-law's lunch next week? Any kind of excuse that's coming up for you right now is a protective mechanism from your critter brain. It's freaking out. Doesn't want you to make this change. So sit with that. So I want you to think and focus on all of these thoughts that are coming up because that's part of the process. Don't make them wrong. Don't make them a symbol or a sign of your weakness. They are literally what it's supposed to do that. Your body's always and your mind are always responding to stimulus. And the stimulus right now is a complete change in lifestyle. So there has to be a reaction. I want you to sit with it. Don't push those feelings away. It's uncomfortable to feel like you might not be able to do this. It's uncomfortable to feel like you might be getting weak, like you might not have willpower. It's temporary. The feelings you have right now are temporary and normal as a reaction to what you're about to do. Don't stuff them away. Don't snuff them down. Don't pretend they're not happening. The first step on this journey is to acknowledge that you are human and that overwhelm, when presented with change, is normal, not a sign of weakness. Tap into these. Even make a list of these. I always tell the ladies first day, make a list of all the excuses that your critter brain is throwing at you today as to why you need to get out of this program now, as to why you're not going to be able to complete. Make a list because it's very fun to look at the end of the program to see the kind of excuses you came up with and then how you overcame them. So there's nothing wrong with you. That critter brain might also be telling you things like you need to go and eat everything this week, right? Before you start the plan on Thursday, it might be telling you you're going to starve on Thursday. You're going to die on Thursday. So between today, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, go and order all the takeout that you can have. Have all the pizza and the burgers and the junk and the chocolate and the chips and the coffee that you can have before Thursday. So if you're also having those thoughts, again, not a sign of weakness, protective mechanism. Also, if you're having those feelings, that goes back to another very primitive instinct that we have, which goes back hundreds of thousands of years to when humans had to deal with famine or they had to deal with long winters. What did they do? Knowing that there's going to be a period of limited food, they used to eat a lot because they weren't going to have access to food. And that primitive instinct is still very much with us. Of course, in modern day living, we don't have the threat of famine. In winter, we still get access to food. How it translates in modern day time is anytime you decide to go on a diet, anytime you decide to change how you eat, the body automatically reverts back to this very primitive mechanism of there's going to be a lack of some kind of lack. So let me fill up before I don't have access to food for God knows how long. So again, if you find yourself binging, let's put it that way. Some of the ladies I know will go and eat everything in sight in the next 4 days. There's nothing wrong with that. If that's what you feel you need to do, go ahead and do it. That's also part of the process and also part of listening to your body's instinct and intuition. But understanding, even if you're going to go and order the chocolate bars and drink all the coffee, you know why you're doing it now. It's not because you're weak. It's not because you don't have willpower. It's because there's a very, very ancient mechanism in your body that's worried that you're not going to be eating the same things you've been eating. So it wants to safeguard you before you start. So this whole process of detoxing and healing as we go along is about really listening to your body. And even when you find yourself eating things that are not part of the detox plan, and this is going to happen to everyone. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when. You will understand why you're doing that. Understanding why you're choosing to eat or not eat something while you are in control is very different than when the food is in control of you. When you feel like you just reach for something and you're not sure why. And then it's only after you finish 3 bags of chips that you sort of wake up and you're like, what did I do? What happened? We are going deep into a process of connecting with yourself so that every single time you eat, whether that's something healing or not healing, it's because you are making a clear choice and it's because you understand the reasons behind the choice that you're making. So even though we're going to sit with the overwhelm, and even though we're going to acknowledge all of these feelings, and even though we're going to be kind to ourselves and have grace with ourselves as we go through the next few days of overwhelm and worry and maybe eating all the different foods, doesn't mean we're going to stick with it. Because if you stay too stuck with it, then you're not going to take steps, then you're not going to see process. So the first step is to sit with it. But in order for us to see results, it means we need to move through this overwhelm. It means we need to get through the uncomfortable feelings. We sit with them, but we get through them. And most women don't know how to get through uncomfortable feelings. We either use food to numb ourselves down. Some people use food, some people use alcohol, some people use drugs, some people now, social media is another way to numb, but we're not going to do that. We're going to sit through the discomfort of the next few days, the discomfort of change, but at the same time, we're going to take tangible, small steps to help us get through it, because that's how you get out of the overwhelm. That's how you get out of the place where you're stuck and you can't take action. You go through it. And we also have to take very small steps because the critter brain, which is directing this overwhelm right now, it doesn't want to be bombarded with too many things. So your job and your responsibility right now, as you're feeling the overwhelm and the worry and the self-doubt, is to take small actions every single day that will reassure your critter brain that what you're doing is not dangerous. And what I mean by small action is the next 4 days are our preparation days. That's it. You're not required to start the eating plan. You're not required to stop drinking coffee. The next 4 days are simply created for you to get over the overwhelm by reading your material, attending the Zoom sessions, doing your grocery shopping, clearing your refrigerator and your kitchen. That's it. So every day you come in and you go on the group and you read my posts and you open your email first thing in the morning and you read the instructions for the day and you come in and watch the Zoom. These are the small steps that are slowly going to convince your critter brain that what you're doing is safe. And it will get you little by little by little to where you need to be. We don't need to be looking. I'm sure some of you have done this. You don't need to be looking at what's happening next week, or what's going to happen in 2 weeks, or what's going to happen when you're done in 3 months. We call that future tripping. If your mind gets you to that state, you're going to scare your critter brain even more. I want you to focus on day by day, even meal by meal. That's how small your focus needs to be in order for you to be successful. Literally meal by meal, if that's what it takes. Once you start to open it up, once you start to think of, okay, what am I going to eat when we're done with the 9-day detox? What am I going to eat when I start going out? What am I going to eat? You're going to overwhelm yourself again. So for the next 4 days, all I want you to do is read your material, get very, very comfortable with the process. And in order to get comfortable with the process, that means showing up and asking questions. There's a lot of information here and a lot of information generally that I'm going to be sharing with you through the Zoom sessions, through my posts in the group. And this whole process of healing is about unlearning everything you've ever known before about healing and health, and learning the new way that I'm showing you how to do it, and then relearning it. So repetition. So it's about letting go, absorbing the new, repeating it so that it becomes a new habit. And in order for you to do that, you need to be very much involved in the process. It's not just about me sitting here talking, throwing all this information at you, giving you information in the Facebook, and you're just sort of a passive receiver. That doesn't work. That's what diets do. So when you're handed a diet by a traditional, dietitian, he just gives you this piece of paper. You go home, you follow it, you don't ask questions. The goal is just, to lose weight and just change the number on the scale. There's really no interaction between you and the dietitian. This is a very, very different process. This is a very interactive, mutual process where I am here to support and guide you as you go through this change. You are not passive in this process where you just take what I say blindly and follow it. I want you, and this is part of becoming empowered in your body and part of becoming sovereign in your health and owning and having bodily autonomy, is asking questions and making sure that anything that you're doing is in alignment with what you need to be doing for yourself and makes sense to you. So whenever I'm sharing information, whether it's here or on Facebook, you need to turn around. If there's something that's not clear, or if you need something to be elaborated on, you need to turn around and come and ask me. You need to get the support. You need to get the guidance, especially at those points when you might be going through the withdrawal symptoms and then doubting the whole process. If you don't do that, you are not going to get the results, and you are not going to get as much out of this process and healing journey as you can. So the best piece of advice that I can give you today is to make sure that you are visible to me. That means you show up on the group and ask your questions. You are watching the Zoom, whether live or replay, and commenting and asking questions. It means if you're too shy to show up on the Zoom or to post on the group, then you're emailing me directly. I need you on my radar, all of you. I need to know what's happening with Rania, what's happening with Neda. If you don't show up, I can't help you. I know exactly how to help you with whatever problem you might have, but I don't read minds. I don't know what you're going through unless you let me know. So there is no question that's too silly. There's no question that's too long. There's no issue that I haven't already dealt with for the most part. So you need to feel comfortable and in understanding that this is your safe space, that this is the space that you get to come to be supported for change. As women, We support everybody around us. We take care of everybody around us. We prioritize everybody around us except for ourselves. Inside this space, inside this group, that gets flipped. You are here to get all the support that you need whenever you need it. And you need to ask for that support as part of how you're going to be successful. You can't heal if you have a question and you're too shy to ask the question. You can't become empowered in your health if you have a doubt and you're not getting that doubt cleared up and that doubt lingers. So make yourselves visible to me so that I can help you and support you in a way that is going to make this journey a success for you. Do not be shy. All right, so technicalities of the program. This morning, you should have gotten your first email. You are going to get a daily email from me for the first month, and then not for the rest of the 2 months. The first month is really the first 3 weeks to 4 weeks are our most intense, where I will be teaching you as much as I can. So during that time, you're going to get the daily emails. We're going to have a Zoom session every single day for 3 weeks. After the 3 weeks, we will have 2 Zoom sessions per week only. I'll be sharing a lot of information in the first 3 weeks. And then in the final 2 months, the Zoom sessions are predominantly Q&A sessions only. So you're going to see how it goes. I'll come in here and you have the topics outlined for you in the email that you got today. I'll speak about the topic first, and then I'll open it up for Q&A. In the Q&A sessions, I will not come in with a prepared topic. It will be just an open hour, because by that time, by the time we reach month 2 and 3, you will be comfortable in your way of eating. You will be experiencing healing symptoms. You will be experiencing ups and downs in your life. You will be moving out of sort of the cocoon of detoxing at home into going out, into traveling, into how do I create a new life with this new way of eating? So you don't really need me to teach you anything at that point. It's all about you're coming back and giving me feedback of how you're going out into the world eating this way, and I'm helping you and supporting you through that process. So like I told you, the Zoom sessions will be recorded and available for replay. You have your daily emails. In the Facebook group, I will be posting every day, 3 times a day. And usually it's informational, it's inspirational, maybe something funny. You don't need to be constantly inside the Facebook group, following every single post that I share, responding to every single question if you have an answer that's helpful. I would pick a time, a dedicated time, once per day. Maybe you give yourself 15, 20 minutes per day, the same time per day, to go in and check the group, see what's been posted in the last 24 hours, see the kinds of questions that have been asked of me, see my answers to those questions, because always, if one of you has a question, that means many of you have the similar question. So you might want to ask a question, but it's already been answered. If you feel like you can add and you have something to share with one of the ladies, please share your experiences. And definitely, as we go through the process, share photos of your food, share photos of the process, share how you're feeling, how you're not feeling. Some days you're going to feel really good. Some days you're not going to feel so good. All of that helps to create a great sense of community and is part of the process of support. Because you will notice as you go through this process, for the most part, again, you might not find a lot of support amongst your family, amongst your friends, amongst your spouse, because what you're doing is truly part of the minority. You are truly part of the 1% who are able to come outside of the mainstream box, come outside of what's common, and choose to do something differently. And that's not going to be viewed it depends. You will either get, just snide remarks. You might even be completely ignored, but then you also might go the other extreme and be totally mocked for what you're doing. Generally, this has been my experience personally and with my groups every single year. If you do find support, you will be rare, but mostly you won't. And because you won't, then this group becomes even more important, because that it will be the only place where no one's going to judge you. No one's going to criticize you. Definitely nobody's going to mock you. On the contrary, you are all in this together. You're all going through this journey together, and you're all here to support each other when we're not going to find a lot of support elsewhere. You are part of the 1%. And I don't say this in a way that's, snobby or judgmental. It is what it is. Most people are too scared to move out of the mainstream and what they hear and try something different. Even when they are incredibly unwell, they will still stick to their guns. So what you've done is you're shattering this belief that most people have, and that scares people. So be on your end, you need to be kind, and and remember that you were probably there as well. All of us were, all of us were part of the 99% at one point, until we made the decision to move out and be daring, because it is daring, and shift out of the mainstream and do something different to take back control of our health. So be wary of this, be mindful of this, and don't let it, because it can, don't let the pressure of that, right? It might feel like a lot of pressure when you're being criticized, when you're being mocked, when people tell you're being too extreme, when they tell you this is not sustainable, when they tell you, how are you going to live without protein? Where are you going to get your calcium? When they tell you, does your doctor know about this? Did your doctor approve this? There's going to be a lot, people have left you on your own forever, watching you eat whatever it is you're eating without a single comment. But then you might find all of a sudden everybody's going to get really concerned, and everybody's going to have an opinion on what you're doing. So that might feel like a lot of pressure, and you need a place to come in to be able to relieve this pressure, and where you can get reassurance again and again and again, as often as you need it, that what you are doing is the right thing for you. All right. What else do I want to tell you? So the next 4 days are just the preparation phase, as I said. You don't need to remove any of the foods that are on the list. So in your detox guide, you got your documents this morning, you have the detox guide, you have the eating plan, you have the recipes, you have the food diary, you have the clean eating guide, and you have the hybrid. The hybrid document, you can just put that away. You don't need that at all right now. The next 4 days, you're not following any of the meal plans at all. Not the clean eating and not the deep detox. All you need to do these next 4 days is prepare yourself mentally, come in and ask all the questions, read the material, start to do your grocery shopping. I don't require you to stop eating anything. I think the only exception I would make is if you are truly a heavy coffee drinker. And by heavy, I mean 3 cups plus per day. Then you have one of two options. You can just wait and go cold turkey on Thursday. Just say, you know what, I'm not ready to give it up yet. I'm in the process of getting ready. I love my coffee too much. I know that on Thursday I don't have a choice. So you might just decide to do that. But if you feel like, if you're somebody who experiences very heavy coffee withdrawal, like during Ramadan, for example, you're going to get the really bad headaches, you might want to start from today or from tomorrow to decrease your intake by just half a cup. So let's say you drink 3 cups a day, drink half a cup less each day until we get to Thursday. That would really be the only thing in terms of the food that I would say, if you feel you want to do that. Otherwise, eat completely normally for the next 4 days, exactly how you've been doing, and maybe even more, in anticipation that you are going to be removing a lot of things on Thursday. Starting Thursday, we start our first 9-day detox cycle. So we start on Thursday and it finishes the following Friday. Again, I don't want you to look at the whole thing all at once and get overwhelmed. You have these first 4 days, focus on that. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, we remove all the major inflammatory foods on the list, and you'll be basically eating fruits, vegetables, a little bit of animal protein, and a little bit of healthy whole grains like lentils. You'll do that Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And I'm going to talk about this in more detail again in the next 3 days. And then Sunday to the following Friday are your 6 days of deep, intense detox, where it's just fruits and vegetables only. And whether in juices, whether in smoothies, whether in salads, whether some of them are cooked. So there are several levels of detoxing, and detoxing is a healing protocol. We go into detox in order to help reset the body. Something in the body has been thrown off by everything you're eating or drinking or putting on your skin or breathing or mismanagement of your emotions and stress. All of those are the 5 main elements that can create serious imbalance in the body. When we look at healing the body, we look at 2 things. We look at toxicity and we look at deficiency. We need to remove the toxins and replenish the deficiencies. And you do that by detoxing. That's what detox is. It's getting rid of toxins and flooding the body with whatever it's deficient in. But there are levels of detoxing. The highest level, the deepest level of detox, and some of you might have heard of this, is water fasting, where you literally don't eat anything. Nothing at all. You just live on water. Sometimes in the water, there's a little bit of honey mixed in with the water that you sort of drink at different intervals during the day. Those of you in Cairo, you must have heard of the water fasting retreats in Guna that happen periodically. I don't recommend these. I mean, I know people who go just to lose weight, but I don't recommend water fasting. It's very, very difficult and very demanding on the body, and the detox withdrawal symptoms are so tough that I know that at these retreats, when people go, this has to be medically supervised. So they have doctors on call to be there to help the people through this process. So it's not something that's necessary unless you have cancer, unless you have a very, very, very deep autoimmune that has been completely unresponsive, although I haven't really seen that. So it really is for some very, very deep issues, not for just anybody just on a whim to go and try water fasting. Right below that is you would have an all liquid fast, so fruit juices. So you would do, still you're not eating anything, you're drinking liquids, but the liquids are full of nutrients. It's not just water where you're just letting your cells purge whatever is in them to heal. You're supporting your body and you're supporting your cells through very, very nutrient dense liquid juices. And they can be a combination of fruits only or fruits and vegetables. Once we leave the realm of liquid detoxing, then we go into detoxing with food. So right after that would be an all raw detox. So it might be a combination of fruits and vegetables in liquid form, but also in whole form. So you could just be eating fruits as well as juicing them. And then right below that, we do a combination of cooked and raw fruits and vegetables. And this is what we'll be doing during those 6 days. So only fruits and vegetables, some of them cooked, some of them juiced, and then some of them whole as well. Right below that, you would do what we're going to do on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, which is fruits, vegetables, and a little bit of animal protein. Animal protein in and of itself is part of how we evolved eating as humans. So, I mean, you're going to see all these arguments for and against protein. You're going to see all these arguments for and against fruits. But the reality is, as humans, we've evolved over the past couple thousands of years eating fruits, vegetables, some seeds, and protein. There is no argument about that. It's there historically. It's there in religious texts. We have eaten all of these foods. So that's why we can still heal with a little bit of animal protein. We take it out to go into more deeper healing, and then definitely you can bring it back in once the healing is done. The problem is not animal protein in and of itself. And then we're going to get into this in the class where I talk about why we're going to remove certain foods. We'll get into more detail. But it's become problematic because our digestive system, even though it's programmed to digest animal food, because of all the other stuff that's come into our systems, all the junk, all the processed foods in the past hundreds of years, the processed foods, the cakes, the cookies, the chips, the sodas, the energy drinks, the just pure junk that's out there that has been marketed to us as food and everybody eats it, that has compromised our systems to an extent that we have trouble breaking down what we were initially trained in terms of a system, trained to digest. Our system recognizes protein, recognizes fruits, recognizes vegetables, does not recognize junk. Except we keep giving it lots of junk. And then we wonder why it malfunctions when we keep giving it junk. And then we have trouble digesting things like animal protein, which we shouldn't. So, what we're doing is retraining your body, clearing out all of the junk, clearing out all of the toxins that all of you here have quite a high level of toxins if you're seeing any of the symptoms that you're all mentioning. And all of you have started to share a little bit about yourselves and to share about your symptoms. Those are clear signs of toxicity and clear signs of deficiency. So this is what we're doing with the detoxing process. We're eliminating every single potential source of toxicity in your body and flooding it with all the deficiencies that it's been missing. I want you just to keep this in mind, but only focus on these next 4 days where you are preparing yourselves physically and you're preparing yourselves emotionally, and you're taking the small steps so that we start the mild detox on Thursday and go into the deeper detox on Sunday. Any questions, ladies? I think I saw a chat. 1 second. Yes, I saw. Decaf coffee is allowed? No. The coffee bean itself, whether it's decaf or not, is acidic. Remember, what we're trying to do is we are trying to remove all sources of toxins from the body. When you have an overload of toxicity in the body, your body shifts from being more alkaline to being more acidic. And we want to bring your body back to being alkaline, because disease cannot take hold in an alkaline body. Coffee is acidic, whether decaf or not. Also, the decaffeination process actually creates the ingredients they use to decaffeinate the coffee bean are more toxic than if you were just to drink a regular caffeine coffee bean. So no. Oat and lactose free allowed, only no dairy at all starting Thursday. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, if you want to have any non-dairy milk like oat or almond or coconut, you can have those Thursday, Friday, and Saturday only. Starting Sunday, nothing but fruits and vegetables. Nothing. So if it's not a fruit, you can't have it. If it's not a vegetable, you can't have it. And there's no dairy at all, even lactose-free throughout the whole program.
Thank you.
You're welcome. The other thing you'll be doing starting Thursday is we're also going to be stopping supplements. So if you take, vitamin B, the different B12s, you take maybe magnesium, vitamin D, omegas, whatever it is, we're also going to stop all of that starting Thursday. The only pill that you can take starting Thursday is if you have a medical condition and you have something prescribed. But anything that's over the counter, Tylenol, Panadol, flu medication, stomach bug medication, Antinal, all these things that people take, plus all the supplements, all of these are out, because all of these are another added toxic load to your system. The only medication you keep is if you have something that is actually prescribed. And some of you have said you would like to come off even your prescribed medication. Thursday would not be the day that you do that. So if you are on medication and your goal is to come off medication, this would be something that we look at least a month in, when you have established your new food foundation. And this is something that absolutely has to be done under your doctor's supervision. There is a way to wean yourself off of medication. You cannot do that on your own. You do need to go to your doctor and say, right, I'm ready to come off this. Tell me how to do it. So migraine pills. So if you do get very, 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 debilitating migraines or very, very debilitating period pains, then yes, pain medication is okay for those for at least the first couple of months as you're rebalancing your body. You will find that 2 months in, 3 months in, you won't need them. So take them as needed, but as you continue through the process of healing and clearing your body, don't let them be your go-to. So as soon as you feel like a twinge of like period cramps, and you know that usually what you do is go and grab the pills, a month to 6 months into the process, I want you to hold off a bit, because how will you know how much you've healed if you automatically take the pain medication and you don't actually know, is my pain going to follow the same pattern it always does, or is it not? It might be milder pain. It might be a little twinge and then go away. You won't know. So initially, yes, pain medication for very severe pain, of course. I take my ADHD meds that I cannot go off. They help me tremendously, and tapering off is very difficult. So this is, again, prescribed, right? So I'm not asking you to stop prescribed medications. Those you keep, and whether you choose to come off or keep medication, that is 100% your own personal choice. I'm saying if you choose to come off prescribed medication, don't do it on your own. That's what I'm saying. When and if you choose, you need to go to your doctor and have him help you come off. Again, having said that, ADHD is just an imbalance of heavy metals in your brain. Once you detox, once you get the heavy metals out, we've seen it with children. There are studies done with ADHD children, hyper children, adults, that once you rebalance, the ADHD disappears and you won't need the medication. That might be very difficult for you to imagine right now, so I don't need you to, but it is a piece of information that you should know. Anybody else with questions? If anybody hasn't received the email, I'm assuming that if you're all here, you've received today's email, but maybe you just got the link off the group. If for whatever reason you don't receive an email or there's any kind of technical glitch, please let me know via email. Please don't post on the group something that's, my email, I didn't get an email today, or there's some kind of technical glitch. Let's not put those questions on the group. Please email me separately. Also, remember that I am available to answer all your questions every day between 9 and 12. So every day, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. when this class starts, I'm available directly, sort of in live time, to answer your questions. I'm just sitting on my laptop between 9 and 12 for anything that needs an instant response. And then I will check again later throughout the day, starting from maybe 3 or 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. I'll pop in periodically to see if there's something or anybody that needs my support. And then obviously we have the class together from 12 to 1 p.m. every day. I'm not available during the weekends, but this first weekend, because it will be the first weekend where you're going through the detox, I will be available to support you through the initial process, because it can be challenging. Can I work out during the juicing phase, or will it drain me? So the juicing phase is only one day where we just do juice, and that's the last day of the 9 days. So there is no juicing phase at all. Every single day there's some kind of whole foods. So you do get a smoothie in the morning and a juice in the morning, but then you also get salads and cooked foods throughout the day. So there is no juicing phase. It's one juicing day only, and it's the last day of the 9-day cycle, and that's not happening until not this Friday, the following Friday. Whatever you feel you're able to do while you're detoxing, do it. Detoxing does, and we're going to get into this on Wednesday in more detail, it does take energy for the body to heal. It does take energy for the body to purge toxins and to get rid of backed up toxicity. So fatigue initially in the first 3 or 4 days is supposed to happen. And to varying degrees, all of you. Some of you might have, really bad fatigue where you're sleeping a lot, and that's why we do it over the weekend. Some of you might just feel mild fatigue, maybe if, a little bit of headaches, and you're still able to go and do your workouts, by all means. But if you do feel too tired, don't take that as a sign that the program is not working for you or the detox is working against you. On the contrary, when you're tired, it means it's working. So then I would ask you to work with your body in that case and rest. If your body's showing you that it's requiring a lot of energy to detox, then listen to it and rest. You'll have plenty of time to work out after those first few days are over. Iman, should I stop turmeric supplements and ashwagandha? Yes, everything. Stop everything. We will get into supplements in week 3. We have a Zoom session on supplements where I will talk about supplements, talk about superfoods, talk about adaptogens like ashwagandha, and when and how to bring them in as needed. Right now, we have to first, because supplements don't heal you. Supplements don't heal. Nothing heals unless you have the proper food foundation. Only food heals. Supplements, as the name suggests, are add-ons. There's something that comes alongside something else. So you can be taking all the supplements in the world, but if your food foundation is not strong, they won't work. So we remove them all. Let's see what happens to your body with the proper food foundation. And then when and if you need something very specific, then we bring it in. In which material is the shopping list and recipe? So in your email today, Dua, you got a list of downloadable documents. One was the detox guide. One says the eating plan and shopping list. So it's in there. Click on it. You'll find the eating plan laid out. And then at the end of that document, you'll find a shopping list. Any other questions, ladies? I will typically have an hour carved out for our sessions. If we ever need to go more than an hour, I mean, I'll speak for about 30, maybe to 30 to 40 minutes, and then open it up for questions. So we will do plan on 1 hour. Sometimes, depending on the topic and the questions, we might go to an hour and a half, but I am here to support you. So do make use of this time with me. If for whatever reason you can't attend a Zoom session live and you have a question that you don't want me answered written in the group, you want to get a verbal answer for, then please let me know ahead of the class, whether by emailing me or tagging me in a post on the group and say, please answer this for me in today's Zoom session so that I can do that. And all the replays, I will post them directly after we finish. There's a section in the group called guides. That's where I'll post all the replays. I will also tomorrow in your email, you'll get the replay for today's class. And in every single email, you'll get the replay for the previous day's class. Nihal, I always fail to cook asparagus. Any video? I don't think I have a video, but I do have a photo of how I cook my asparagus, and I will be sharing some tips throughout this process of how I make the food. So I don't know if it's a video, but I do have a photo and tips, so I can share that. If you could please tag me, Nihal, anybody who asks me something in general on our Zoom sessions, just a little instruction. If you ask me a question that I'm supposed to follow up with on the group, please remind me. So tag me in a post to remind me so that I don't forget. So Nihal, please tag me in the group and say, Dana, please show me how to cook asparagus, and I will share that with you. Thank you. And if you haven't yet, shared a little bit about yourself on the group, told us, who you are, what you do, what your symptoms are, what your goals are, please take a moment today and go in and fill that out, please. I prefer cucumber juice more than celery. So if you are in Cairo, celery currently is not easy to find. So in that case, yes, your substitute for celery is cucumber. And you'll find in your the shopping list document at the end of it, you'll also find the substitutions list. So if you can't find this, use this. So celery in Egypt, we don't have it all year round. Those of you in Dubai, those of you, I think we have Dubai, I think we might have North America, a couple of ladies, you will have celery all year round. So there is no excuse for you to substitute for anything else. You will drink your celery every single day. Those of us in Cairo, because it's not readily available, it will become more available as the weather cools down. Then definitely bring it in every day. Until then, if you cannot find it, then the best direct substitute is cucumber juice. But don't use cucumber juice just because you like it more than celery. The celery has very specific benefits. The cucumber is the closest to it. We want to optimize your benefits. So only choose cucumber if celery is not available. I found celery in Lulu Market. There you go. Thank you. And make sure it's the French celery. So in Egypt also we have two kinds of celery. We have the Egyptian celery, which is very thin and very dark green and very bushy. Not that celery. You want what's called the French celery, which is a lighter green. The stalks are quite thick and long, and then the leaves on top. There are two. Yes, Marwa. There are two types. Not the Egyptian one. Not that one. You want the one and that Egyptian one is the one that's usually available regularly. I'm talking about the French one, long, light green. That is the one that's not always there, but that's the one that we need. The Egyptian one, I mean, it's horribly, horribly bitter. I don't recommend it. Go ahead and try it, but you'll try it once and you'll know that you don't want it again. Nihal, you have posted on Instagram a green juice that has multiple ingredients. When can we start doing that? You can start doing that month 2, month 3. I want you to get established with the routine that I'm giving you. There isn't much flexibility, let's say, for lack of a better word, in the 9-day detox and in the healing protocol, because you need to create a foundation first, create a baseline first, then you can start to experiment on your own off of that, right? Then you can say, right, let me try a green juice this morning instead of celery. Let me try this kind of smoothie instead of the berry smoothie that we have. But you can't experiment until you have a really, really strong hold and the healing foundation is really anchored in with you, and you've started, more importantly, to feel the effects. You started to feel good. Your symptoms are disappearing. You're coming off your medication. Then you can start within the healing framework. And because obviously we can get really bored, right? Having the same thing every single day. So when that happens, then definitely you can start experimenting with different juice recipes, different smoothie recipes, different cooked recipes, 100%, but not yet. Alia, what if I have some iron deficiency? Will detoxing have a toll on me? Of course not. So here's what you need to know about iron deficiency. When you have an iron deficiency, it's not necessarily because you're not consuming enough iron. An iron deficiency means you could be consuming animal protein, you could be consuming greens that have iron, you could be consuming beans that have iron, you could even be taking supplementation, maybe even infusions. But if your body is not able to process and more importantly, absorb this iron, you will always have a deficiency. So why is your body not able to absorb iron? Because your gut is very weak from the other foods that you're eating: bread, pasta, coffee, processed foods, seed oils. It gets something called leaky gut, where nutrients leak instead of being absorbed in your intestines and then, shared all over your body. Nutrients get leaked in your gut. So you might be consuming the perfect amount of iron and even iron supplements, but they get to your intestines, which are permeable and leaky because of the processed foods, that this iron doesn't reach your body. It doesn't get to where it needs to be. So that's how you end up with an iron deficiency. The other reason why you might have an iron deficiency, despite eating enough iron and even supplements, is if you don't have enough copper. So this is an important missing link that most people don't understand. If you don't have enough copper in your body, you need both in order for the body to absorb and make use of iron. So copper is found in, let me just take out my list. I'm very, very bad with remembering lists, God, ladies. Okay, so I'll take out the list. Foods high in copper. So if you're not eating these foods, but you're eating protein, let's say, or you're eating iron supplements, but you're not eating these foods every single day, your body will not be able to make use of the iron. So foods high in copper are avocados, guava, pomegranate, blackberry, kiwi, mango, pineapple, apricot, bananas, potatoes, green peas, spinach, asparagus, parsley, fish, sunflower seeds, almonds, mushrooms, tomatoes. If you're not eating at least 4 or 5 of these, or a combination of them, cycling through them every single day, then you are deficient in copper. And as long as you're deficient in copper, your body will never be able to increase its iron absorption. So what you're going to do in this detox, essentially, and I've seen it happen with women who have anemia, we remove the animal protein, but we repair the permeability of your gut and we flood the body. You're still eating iron-rich foods, right? Every single day you're going to be eating iron-rich foods from the fruits and vegetables. And the fruits and vegetables also happen to be rich in copper. You're going to see your iron go up. Baked potatoes are allowed or only sweet potatoes? So potatoes in the first 3 days, yes, but no potatoes at all until Wednesday of next week. There's only one day in the deep detox where you can have potatoes or sweet potatoes, only one day. And the reason for that is potatoes are incredibly healing. And once you get to a later stage in your healing journey, you can have them every day. But at the beginning, when you need to be eating all the broccoli, the asparagus, all the greens, all the vegetables that most people are not used to eating, and we still have to create that habit of eating them and enjoying them. If I tell you, go ahead and eat potatoes, what do you think is going to happen? Are you going to choose broccoli over potatoes? Are you going to choose asparagus over potatoes, Brussels sprouts over potatoes? You will not, I promise you. So we remove them because naturally we all love potatoes. We're going to gravitate towards eating potatoes at the expense of the other healing vegetables. So once you start to love these vegetables and once you start to feel better, there are separate phases coming up where you can incorporate all potatoes, regular and sweet. And by the way, all of this is very clearly laid out in your eating schedule document. So the eating schedule document starting Sunday has every single meal laid out for you with the recipe directly underneath it to make the referencing and to make the process easy for you. The first 3 days, there's a little bit more leniency because you have animal protein. And I'll talk about this again tomorrow and the day after. You get to choose your meals from the clean eating guide. So everybody's going to be eating a little bit differently Thursday, Friday, Saturday, because you get to choose your lunch and dinner from the clean eating guide. Starting Sunday, all of you will be eating the exact same foods as per the eating schedule plan. So these are the documents I want you to start to look at today, get familiar with today. You're going to have questions about them as to the process and can I eat this and can I do this and what day can I do this? That's normal. You're going to have those questions. So this is why I want you to start reading them today so that I can clear up all of those questions for you. Hi, what about plant-based yogurt? Only in the first 3 days. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Again, I would nothing that's soy-based. So a lot of these non-dairy replacements, so yogurt, milk, all of that. Some of them cheese, some of them are soy-based. So if you're not sure about something, show me the list of ingredients. If it's got soy in it, it's out. If you have a coconut yogurt, for example, or almond yogurt, I haven't seen any made with oat milk, but coconut or almond, then that's okay. In the first 3 days only. Starting Sunday, nothing but fruits and vegetables. Shall we at a point get a guide on seed cycling? Yeah, I do have a post on seed cycling that I will share. This is optional if you feel like this is something that might be helpful to you. I've never really applied it. I haven't needed to. Once I created the right food foundation, I didn't need to do all the extra stuff. Just eating this way was enough to regulate my cycle, get me out of any kind of pain during my cycle. And I used to take about 34 pills a month for pain, gone without seed cycling, shrunk my fibroids without seed cycling. I have the same energy throughout the whole month to work out without seed cycling. I'm just sort of mentioning the things that promoters of seed cycling will say. That's not to say this is why I'm going to share a post about it. Definitely something that you can try. But sometimes I feel like when we add too many things to the process, it can add to the overwhelm. So if you create the food foundation and you find your symptoms are reversing and disappearing and you don't need your pain meds anymore and your cycle feels you don't feel that you have a cycle. Ideally, that's the goal, where basically you get your period and it's like, oh, I have my period. It's a surprise. There are no symptoms leading up to it. Then there's no need to seed cycle. Can I add honey to the celery juice if I don't like how it tastes? I would say, ideally, I will say no, but if you've got celery in Cairo, it can be incredibly bitter, even the French one. I would say if it's really, really bad, add juice and apple with it, not honey. There's nothing wrong with honey, but I would say for this specific instance, juice an apple or a lemon. I have low progesterone that affects fertility. I believe it might help. You don't have low progesterone because you have a seed deficiency. It's not because you have a sesame seed or pumpkin seed or any of the seeds used in seed cycling. It might help you, but you could seed cycle and still not see a shift if you haven't changed your food. So if you're still eating bread and cheese and coffee and eating eggs and regular yogurt and a lot of animal protein and a lot of animal fats and you're drinking sodas and you're eating out, no, you can seed cycle until, until the end of time. It's not going to help. So we have to address the food foundation first. The reason you have low progesterone is because of a cracked food foundation, not because you have a deficiency in the seeds and seed cycling. Motto, I add lemon to celery, also some spices like cumin, black pepper. No, celery needs to be consumed plain celery juice. Only if, again, you are in Cairo and we happen to get, and because there's no consistency in the batches, right? You get a batch that's really, really bitter to the point where you're just unable to drink it. Add an apple or add some lemon because we want you still to drink it. So we want to make it palatable on some level. If you get a great batch and it's that nice, neutral, just a little bit salty batch, you don't need to add anything to that. You can add those marwa though if you want. You can add the black pepper, the cumin, um, uh, turmeric. You can add those things to your lemon water if you want. Any other questions for me, ladies? All right, so I will post the replay in the group and I will see you all here again tomorrow, same time, same place. Thank you for a wonderful first session. I'm incredibly excited for all of you. Remember today, your priority is to read, get familiarized with the material, and make yourself visible to me. Another reason why you want to make yourself visible to me is that if you're on my radar and Alia's coming at me and telling me every single day, here's what I'm doing, here's what I'm feeling, here's my issue, here's what's not working, I'm really tired with this, and then I see something about iron deficiency because I follow a lot of the functional doctors, and then maybe something new comes up. And I remember, well, Alia is the one who is got the iron deficiency and she's telling me how she's progressing. Then I can automatically, and I do this because I'm very good at remembering the ladies in my group who show up, who tell me what's going on. I'm like, right, I need to forward this to Alia. Here's another little bit of information that can help her, help us in her healing journey. I can't do that if you're hiding and if you're not sharing and if you're being shy. Don't be shy. This is not the time to be shy. This is the time to come to me between 9 and 12 every single day with every single question that you have so that I can support you. You are here to transform. And you can't transform if you are too afraid to ask questions, you're too afraid to experience the process, you're too afraid to become visible. It won't happen. You want to have a truly transformative healing journey that's going to require you to come out of your shell a little bit and trust. Everything that's said in here is said in confidence. Nothing gets shared anywhere else. And this goes for all of you. You don't share anything that we say in here anywhere else. And you come in here so that you can gain the confidence to heal and to be successful. All right, ladies, you're so welcome. I'm also really looking forward to all of your journeys and all of your results. And I will see you again tomorrow, same time, same place. Have a wonderful rest of your day, ladies.